All right, guys, welcome to the Get Bit podcast for blurs, for nerds. If you have a fandom, you are most certainly welcome here. I'm your host, the most. We also know as Black, aka Black Spartan. Usually, I would say to my left or to my right, my co-host Joe Tonello, who is actually having his birthday. So, very happy birthday to my co-host, as he is out enjoying a much-needed day off and is probably watching Spider-Man right now. So, we're probably gonna get a review of that. Next Friday when he's back on. But again, together we are the Get Bit podcast. So much like the WWE old guys, we do let some choice words fly, but at the same time, we do try to watch your language to some extent. At the same time, guys, there may be things that might be shown that might be too intense for younger viewers, so your discretion is advised. Aside from that, welcome. So you're probably wondering, what news do we have concerning the fact that, well, there's a certain strike going down? Well, actually, we do have a little bit of news for you guys tonight. Mainly put, that we have to start with, something that's growing on me. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen the latest trailer, but I can't lie, it's growing on me a little bit. Check it out.
Can I take it? I'm awesome. Boys, where have you been?
We're just running errands.
That's it?
Look, we're really sorry, Splinter. Some of the guys wanted to get pizza, and I tried to talk them out of it.
You ratted us out.
Hey, don't use that word that way.
I mean, it's 2023.
Sorry, Dad. Hey, guys, if we weren't monsters that were shunned by society and we could do what we wanted, what would you guys do?
Go to high school. Maybe get a girlfriend.
Can you imagine that?
Not likely.
Yes, we can.
This is insane. Turtle Mutant Karate Teens. I want to know everything about you. Our dad is definitely not a giant rat. That makes me feel like he's a rat.
Police are baffled by the recent crime wave led by Superfly.
Nobody's ever seen his face.
Why?
Because he kills everyone who does.
Whoa.
Cool.
No, not cool.
A bit cool.
Can I kick it?
We take out Superfly, and then everyone will think we're cool. They'll accept us.
Can I kick it?
He's making a deal tonight under the Brooklyn Bridge.
Can I kick? Whoa. Kick.
What the? Y'all some little tortoises, huh?
I can't believe there are other mutants.
You want to roll with us? Humans are never gonna like us. So we gonna let the mutants rule the earth.
Peoples, they got to go.
Okay, sort of a twist.
We can't stop him.
We gotta try.
6 a.m, police at my door.
Can I kick it?
Go.
My son, Michelangelo, you have heart. Donatello, you have wisdom. Raphael, you have bravery. And Leonardo, honor.
Enough talk. I dream about fighting every night.
You got a rage problem, right?
snap.
It's not a problem.
Can I kick it? Can I kick it? Can I kick it? Can I kick it? Can I kick it?
Okay, so that was the trailer for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. As you guys can see, comes out on August the 2nd. It is kind of odd, right? How movies are just coming out back to back to back. I guess you can say it's because of the pandemic. I guess you could say because of scheduling. I guess you could say it's because of the strike going on right now. But I mean, we just, it's kind of weird. I have to kind of go back. We just had Guardians of the Galaxy. Then we had The Little Mermaid. Now, as of really 2 days ago, we have Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse. So we really had movies back to back to back to back. Also, shout out to Little Mermaid for #1 at the box office. Very well deserved. I haven't seen the movie, but I've heard great reviews from it. That Miss Bailey made the role her own. So definitely congratulations to her and the crew for that wonderful retelling of a Disney movie. As a good friend of mine would say, go for all of them, make them black. I am completely okay with that. But aside from that, yes, Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse, which is one of two things where a lot of people are doing tonight. Either you're going to go see that movie or you're playing Street Fighter 6. Either way, I envy you. But I envy you greatly. But no, I'm going to be honest about Teenage Mutant Turtles: Mutant Mayhem. The fact that it is being produced partly by Seth Rogen. It looks great. I love the updated feel to it that, they're kind of making a little bit more PC conscious jokes about, Splinter. It's like, when they said Leo was a rat, he says, don't use it that way. He's like, come on, man, it's 2023. And there is a little bit of actual realism in it. And Ice Cube as Superfly, Ice Cube as a bad guy. That's going to be interesting. I am intrigued. Really and truly, I am. To see what they do with it. But again, that's August 2nd in movie theaters. So hopefully you guys check that out. And again, let me know what you guys think of the trailer and if you're going to go see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem. But before we hop into the next trailer, which again I think it's going to be great when it comes out. But before we do that, The Rock. Let's be honest about The Rock, ladies and gentlemen. The Rock's, he's usually a guy that has a lot of wins columns. I mean, if you think about it, definitely had some good hit movies out there, some prominent box offices, wonderful energy drinks. Tequila is great. The XFL actually had a very successful season in ratings and viewerships and things of that nature. Black Adam, not so much. But the reason why I'm talking about The Rock, ladies and gentlemen, outside of that is, well, because he is, and I don't mean to spoil this for anyone who hasn't seen Fast X, but if you have seen Fast X, or if you've been on social media, or if you follow The Rock like I do, you already know that The Rock has already announced that his character, Hobbs, is back in the Fast franchise. Again, spoiler alert for Fast X, one of the scenes at the end did actually show him returning to the franchise. So, of course, again, spoiler alert, if you didn't know, now you do. And of course, The Rock says on Twitter, of course, he is going to return to the Fast and Furious franchise. So we probably will be seeing him in one of the next to last two last two Fast X specials, because Fast X was supposed to kind of be the last one, but they wanted to stretch out in 3 parts. But that's okay. That's just the way it is sometimes. But the thing about it is, guys, I'm not against it. I liked Hobbs. I liked Rock's character Hobbs in the Fast franchise. Hobbs and Shaw was actually very good. I'm kind of hoping they do another Hobbs and Shaw between him and Jason Statham. But I am not surprised by this, that they're wanting to move forward. Maybe The Rock and Vin Diesel have mended fences. Maybe Vin Diesel sat there and said, yeah, see what happens if you go on your own and you try to direct your own movie and try to be your own scriptwriter and see what happens. He might have said that. Who knows what was said in that trailer between those two? But apparently, they must have mended fences just enough to where they can actually move forward on this. So again, not complaining. I'm just slightly impressed by that. Speaking of the birthday guy, hey, Joe, if I had a phone stand in my car, I'd join, but I'm driving. Dude, please, oh, please be safe. Like I said, dude, no biggie. We will definitely reconvene. Have a happy birthday. Enjoy yourself. Let me know how Spider-Man was, because I know you've seen it. But again, dude, don't worry about it. My co-host will definitely be back the next time we run this. Well, next time we run this back on Friday. So just be safe, Joe. That's all I ask. Please don't be those folks that drive and text and do all that stuff. Please be safe. But that being said, guys, we are going to move on to our next trailer, which again is a surprise. The reason why I say it's a surprise is because who knew that you can get John Cena and Jackie Chan in a action adventure movie and it's not Rush Hour? It's called Hidden Strike.
Hit it!
Put your seatbelt on. Hey! Slow. And put in the hole.
It's a team of international criminals.
The biggest oil heist in history.
It's not personal. These guys are a little bit on edge.
You guys do nicknames? Bald Eagle. Tomb Raider. Full disclosure, there's a lot going on here.
I think they're gonna shoot you. Because the first time I see you, I wanted to shoot you.
Allez-moi, c'est enfoirés!
See?
I'll just take it back what they owe us.
Looks like we got ourselves an old-fashioned standoff.
You go high, I'll go low.
Okay.
I'm okay. You okay?
Get off me.
Okay. Sorry.
Shame you have to do this on your own.
I'm not alone.
Hit it!
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm getting Rush Hour. I'm getting Rush Hour and Fast and Furious vibes, but that was Hidden Strike. As you guys can see, that was the movie that if you guys remember a long time ago, especially from the wrestling side. John Cena did travel to China to train with Jackie Chan and the stunt team. This is just one of the movies that he's actually in. And I am not against it. I think it's going to be great. We don't have a release date for it as of yet, but it will be coming out hopefully soon. But let me know what you think. I mean, John Cena and Jackie Chan. I mean, we know John Cena in the various movies he's played in. The man can act, and he does have a funny side. So shouldn't be surprised about that. And Jackie Chan, let's be honest. If you've seen enough Jackie Chan movies, you know there's going to be action. You know he's going to do his own stunts, and you know it's going to be good. I got no complaints about that. But moving along, guys, I do want to talk about Nintendo for a second. No, not about Zelda and Tears of the Kingdom and the fact that a lot of people are forgetting that they're just creating things in Tears of the Kingdom and forgetting to save the princess at the end. I'm one of those folks. Well, I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom. I have no, as far as Tears of the Kingdom go, still fun as all get out. But I'm not judging those people because the things they are building, first and foremost, amazing. But I do got a bone to pick with Nintendo because Nintendo may love a lot of things. They hate emulators. Reason being, there is an emulator currently out on Steam right now called Dolphin, where again, if you use Dolphin, you can actually play certain games of the NES, Game Boy Advance, and Super NES and N64 variety. Well, Nintendo, in its infinite wisdom, decided that no, we can't have other people playing our games. So they sent a cease and desist order against the emulator Dolphin over its launch on Steam, saying its existence, quote unquote, harms development and ultimately stifles innovation. They also say that Nintendo is committed to protecting the hard work and creativity of video game engineers and developers. This emulator illegally circumvents Nintendo's protection measures and runs illegal copies of games. Using illegal emulators or illegal copies of games harms development and ultimately stifles innovation. Nintendo respects the intellectual property rights of other companies and in turn expects to do the same. Are you freaking kidding me? Nintendo. See, here's the problem with Nintendo, okay? My first system was a Nintendo. I love many games that came from Nintendo. Love the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it, you really should. It's a good movie. That being said, Nintendo's flaw has always been that they don't really produce the games we want to play in a certain time. Now, what I mean by that is, unless you have a Switch and then you pay for the service to play certain NES and Super NES and now Sega and N64 games on the Switch, there's a service for that. However, if you don't want to pay for the service, and the fact that a lot of NES, Super NES games, even N64 games, can be digitized, you can play them on a ROM, which again, the emulator just basically mimics the game system for those that don't know. But I have no issue with that. I think that's a great thing for those that love the NES 8-bit variety. If you love Super NES games or hard to find Game Boy or Game Boy Advance games, there's nothing wrong with that. Take an emulator on your phone or on your tablet or on your PC and play them to your heart's content because you're not harming anybody. And I say that because Nintendo is not reselling those games. I mean, sure, you can go to your favorite hole-in-the-wall video game store or a multi-franchise place like GameStop and possibly find those games. Yeah, sure. But Nintendo's not really making any more money off of those, which is why I don't get the whole thing about Nintendo. Nintendo says, well, this stifles our innovation. How? You have fans like myself that would love to be able to play every game. And I mean, consider the fact the level of technology that we have at our fingertips, backwards compatibility should not be an issue for a lot of these 8-bit games, considering the fact that we are playing on on really near PC level peripherals. That should be a problem, Nintendo, but yet you give us streaming channels. You give us channels that we pay subscriptions for, because even though these games have made you money decades ago, you still feel the need to squeeze that orange as much as humanly possible. And I don't get it. Because for all those out there, there's plenty of ROMs and emulators that you can use for NES games. Dolphin was one of those where it's like, let's just make it easier, because when you're on the internet and you're downloading stuff, you're not sure what you're downloading. I mean, it could contain a virus, could contain malware, could contain spyware. It could be something that locks up your machine just because you want to find something to play your old games, and you just don't want to go through the hassle of going to Nintendo. What Nintendo should be doing right now is actually giving the people what they want. Much like Microsoft with Xbox Game Pass. Almost every PlayStation game is a Microsoft Game Pass day one, which is kind of, giving the middle finger to Sony. But again, Game Pass has been very valuable in what they give to consumers versus Sony's PlayStation subscription services. But Nintendo has a golden opportunity is what I'm getting at. They have a golden opportunity. Instead of ceasing and desisting folks from creating emulators, why don't you just take their technology? Why don't you license it to them? Why don't you allow them to license their technology to where you can still get your greedy little share of the pie, and at the same time, people can still enjoy all your games, and it might actually lead to them buying more games, which may lead to more revenue, instead of you saying that it stifles our innovation. Really? We've had the Switch now for almost going on 7 years, and the best thing you've done for the Switch is make an OLED version. That's it. If that stifles innovation, I wonder who's in your creative R&D department. That's all I'm saying, Nintendo. But honestly, they could do better. But moving right along away from Nintendo, this is kind of weird, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. We all love Madden. Madden is synonymous. Madden is one of those titles up there with football games like Tecmo Super Bowl, NFL Blitz, Mutant Bowl. I can go down the list. But the reason why I bring up Madden is basically because of this little news segment that Will Ferrell, the Carolina wine mixer Will Ferrell, is wanting to team up with a certain director, David O. Russell, for Madden, which is basically a biopic about the football coach, commentator, and video game icon, which is weird because this movie is being distributed and produced by Amazon in conjunction with MGM. And I've always, the thing that's always bothered me about this, because John Madden, number one, John Madden is a icon in itself. Like I said, for a lot of us in the football side of the world, whether you played Madden football when it first came out many years ago, whether you heard his commentary beside Pat Massell, I think it's Pat Massell. It may be actually Pat McAfee, but I gotta check on that. So I apologize, sir, if I got your name wrong. But beside his co-host, we remember many football games where we heard Madden's voice and he broke it down for us. And for those that remember earlier than that, he was the coach of the Raiders. He was the head coach of the Raiders in Super Bowl 11. The point I'm making is, however you remember Madden, the fact that, if it came down to it, who would actually play Madden? Now, don't get me wrong. Will Ferrell is a first off, great actor. He really is. Many iconic roles we know him for, but the fact that he is circling the role of Madden himself or wants to do the role of John Madden, the reason why I said because you have comedians out there like Frank Caliendo, who voiced Matt. I mean, the man's bread and butter for comedian Frank Caliendo was the fact that he could mimic John Madden to a T. And, with the right makeup and stuff like that and special effects, we could probably transform him into Madden. But Will Ferrell playing Madden, I'm not sure about that. At the same time, they're wanting to do a biopic on Madden. Again, I am not really sure about that. That's the thing that kind of sticks. That's the thing I'm like, do we want a Madden? I mean, I'm going to ask you guys in the comments. Do we want a Madden biopic movie, or do we want just to keep rolling out the games? Because realistically, I'm not against a biopic Madden movie, but at the same time, I just don't want them to try something that's not really being asked for. Because I can't see anybody out there saying, you know what I would love? I would love a movie about Madden. When you have NFL games in the past that you can watch about him, or games that he's commented on. I just don't see. And again, let me know in the comments what you guys think. I just don't see the attraction behind a Madden movie. But like I said, with the writer strike going on, and I think that the SAG actors may be joining them. I'm not 100% sure on that. But Hollywood may be put on pause just because, well, they simply don't want to pay people. But speaking of things that nobody asked for, you know what? I am 100% certain nobody's asking for this. Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City might be getting a sequel. Let me stress that again. Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City might be getting a sequel. For all those that don't know or may not remember, that movie was okay. I'm gonna point this out because unfortunately I was one of those idiots that went to go see it. I am a Resident Evil fan of the games, except for 6 because 6 was trash. But I am a fan of the games. Therefore, movies come along. The first Resident Evil movie was campy, and then somehow 6 movies later we still didn't get it right. The Netflix series, which again starred the late Lance Reddick, again was entertaining, but it did not stay long enough to get past its first run. That being said, I never understood outside the live action because the CGI Resident Evils have done very well. They have. I mean, Infinite Darkness, Revelations, those movies have done regularly well because I think in the world of Resident Evil, live action wouldn't translate well. But in the animated CGI world, you can do whatever you want. It's that kind of gravity to it. But the fact that we are going to possibly get another sequel to a movie that was in the words of one of my friends on Blurred's Eye View, Kira, it was mid at best. Really and truly mid at best. And now they're going to move forward because I guess they figured, if mediocre success equals grand success, then let's just keep pumping them out. I don't understand it, but again, we'll catch up on that as it comes out. But speaking of things that are going to be coming out, like I said, as movies are coming back to back, you guys do remember, even though Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is out now and definitely should go see it, just because from friends of mine that went to go see it and those are in the movie theaters, they loved it. I'm sure Joe, when he comes back, is going to be able to definitely talk about that too. But here's the thing about The Flash, where as that's going to be coming out very soon, the Flash director, which I have to think that somewhere along the lines, there is a campaign to keep Ezra Miller in The Flash. Because you see, I won't call them plants, but you see the people coming forward and saying, oh, well, Ezra Miller acted so well, you'll forget about everything he's done. Who? Because I'm not going to forget. That man, for him playing the Flash, as me and Joe have said multiple times on this podcast, this man has pulled the reverse Flash. I mean, how do you get arrested twice in 48 hours? Commit felonies, also allegedly accused of grooming a young child, facing felony charges, and yet people are coming forward and saying your acting is so good that we're going to forget about it. Well, the reason why I bring that up is because now the director of The Flash, Andy Muschietti, said that that despite Ezra Miller's previous actions, that he should still remain as the Flash in future DC movies. Now keep in mind. It could be one of two things. First and foremost, they're trying to bank on the success of the Flash, or as I like to call it, or as my friend Chris Fury called it, Batman and Friends, which is what I'm going with. So they're trying to. So the director here is saying that, you know, if a sequel happens, I don't think there's anyone that can play that character as well as they did. Of course, Miller used the pronouns of they and them. The other depictions of the character are great, but this particular version of the character, they just excelled in doing it. As you said, the two berries, it feels like a character that was made for them. This feels like promotion versus testimony, because again, Ezra Miller to me was probably the most neurotic Flash that they casted. Keep in mind, Ezra Miller was casted during the Snyder run of DC, so they casted a nerdy, neurotic, almost borderline ADD kid to play the Scarlet Speedster. And even now, just because, like I said before, many moons ago on this podcast, me and Joe both said it, that Warner Brothers only had so many options before the Reverse Flash showed himself. And if you guys remember, I said it only comes down to one of three options. One, they have to totally scrap the movie and just take the loss. Two, they promote the movie and keep Ezra Miller under guard, under lock and key, and out of the limelight. Or three, they promote the movie and put him front and center and just roll the dice. And as you can see, they went with option number two. Because as you notice, the Flash coming out, you've seen Michael Keaton do press. The actress who's playing Kara, Supergirl, is doing press. You see General Zod. I forgot his name already. He's making press rounds as well. You know who's not making press rounds? Ezra Miller. I wonder why. Because a lot of people are not going to go see Batman and Friends, and I respect that. I respect that wholeheartedly. But I'm not going to watch The Flash because of the Reverse Flash. I'm going to watch Batman and Friends because my Batman, Michael Keaton, will be reprising his role, and I think that's a beautiful thing how they're doing it. But I also have a theory, and I hope I'm right, that at the end of the Flashpoint paradox, which is basically what the movie's about anyway, it's resetting the DC universe as we know it. I hope at the end, because the way they're talking, I hope my theory is true, that by the end of this movie, we have a different Flash. And I'm going to be honest, the Flash on CW just wrapped up. Grant Gustin is available. Or Lucas Till. I mean, we can keep going down a list of possible people, because it's funny how the director says, well, I've seen other depictions of the Flash, but nobody plays it like Ezra Miller did. Really? Greg Gustin did it for 9 seasons, and outside of crappy writing, and sometimes lack of show running, he still to me did a great Barry Allen, and I still think that. And it always amazes me though that why is it that when you have great TV stars that can do the Flash on a television series, why not turn around and do the same thing on movies? Why not? I'm just gonna be honest. It's literally a why not moment, but. Again, I just feel like this is a big plant about trying to get some fanfare toward Ezra Miller's way. Almost sympathy, if you will, because you know the spin is coming. And trust me, it definitely is coming. But again, I'm going to go see Batman Friends when it comes out. I still hope there's going to be a different Flash at the end of the movie. But you can tell the machine is already put in place to kind of change public opinion over Miller. Will it work? I don't know, maybe, but I don't think it will. But moving along, guys, there is one other. Like I said, we didn't have a lot of news. Like I said, strike. But there was one thing I caught on Netflix that's going to come out very soon, and honestly, it just looks great. It actually comes out June 9th on Netflix. It's called Bloodhounds. If you're a fan of boxing and really good fight scenes, you're gonna like this. Check it out.
레프트 왜 이렇게 세냐?
아, 나 폐차장에서 알바할 때 훅으로 타이어 치는 연습을 좀 했어.
레프트만?
나 오른손이 더 세.
왼손으로 다 상대할 수 있었다는 거잖아. 재수 없어.
들어와!
그 친구도 보통은 아닌 것 같아요. 30명을 밀어버렸어요.
형은 돈이 중요해? 돈보다 중요한 게 뭐가 있어?
돈 갚으세요.
우리 가게부터 물어내세요.
애들 목 다 알았지?
파이팅!
All I gotta say is, if there was ever a show that said these hands are rated E for everybody, that would be it. But that's Bloodhounds. Yes, it is going to be English subbed, but it actually is going to be available on Netflix June 9th. I'm looking forward to it just because it kind of reminds me of, well, it reminds me of a lot of the old, the action Korean Chinese Americans. Ooh, that was wrong because I just almost named off a fast food joint. It reminds me of the Korean action style movies or Chinese action style movies where it's really up close and you can see the action. And oh boy, has some hands. Both of them had hands. But again, it's called Bloodhounds. It'll be on Netflix June 9th. I think it'll be great. You let me know in the comments what you guys think. But also, some other news, guys, before we get to our comics. Like I said, kind of a light day. If you're like me and you're a Final Fantasy fan and we've had Final Fantasy remake out for quite some time, we don't know when the next part's going to be. Well, for the showcase that actually just passed this last week, a lot of people wondering because we got no information on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Is it still going to happen? Is it pushed back? Well, to answer that question, yes, it is still coming. It is actually going to be coming out this winter. Labeled Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It is the second part of the 3-part series for Final Fantasy VII. The director did say that they are moving quite along on a decent schedule, and that more will be shown as we get close, and more will be revealed as we get close to the winter part of the year. Now, does that mean we'll see anything at Greg Kinnear Summer Games? It's a 50-50 shot on that. But at least we know it is coming. But unfortunately, for all those who are PS4 owners, you will have to upgrade to a PS5, not only to play Rebirth, but keep in mind, Final Fantasy Intergrade was only on PS5 as well. So again, we all got to upgrade because it looks like the PS4 is starting to hit its end of. It's going to be hitting its end of life probably in the next year or so. So next gen gaming is going to be PS5 and Xbox Series X. So looking forward to that personally. But for me, the last thing I got, guys, before we get to our comic pulls that I've done is, Lego sets are a beautiful thing. I saw a few of myself. I still got to put together once I get the room set up the way I like it. But have you ever thought about a Lego Pac-Man set? I know, it's weird, right? The reason why I say that is because apparently it's available now. This actually right here. not gonna lie, that is actually pretty cool. Now, granted, it is a Lego icon set that, as you can see there, is Pac-Man. The retail price on that right now is about $260, but I can't lie, it's for a tabletop game, because again, tabletop games are making quite the comeback. But I'm not against it. I think it is very cool. It is very awesome. I believe you can go on to Lego.com for now, and I say for now. The arcade cabinet set is available on Lego.com for now. Now, as this live recording, things may change because, like I said, it's actually a retail price $269.99. So you think about $275 either way in taxes. But again, can't lie, it looks pretty cool. But like I said, it's one of those nostalgic things that you put it together and enjoy it and have fun with it. But I dig it. You guys let me know what you think. But like I said, guys, we didn't really have a lot in the news column today because, again, everybody's either out there enjoying Spider-Man or enjoying Street Fighter or waiting to see when this strike's going to end. Let me not forget Superman and Lois. That review of that one for Collision Course. Really quickly, we are getting to the season finale of Superman and Lois. The fact that Bruno Mannheim and Onomatopoeia, it's starting to come to a head as far as what we're going to see with that. This week's episode was very solid. No arguments there. I love the fact of how they're still making a focal point about cancer and how it's beat and actually showing the actual trauma and things behind it. Very realistic to bring that to home. Not a lot of Superman action in this episode, but it really didn't need it because the story itself was really more about the characters and less about superhero action. But again, solid episode. Just want to say that before we get to our comics. But again, we will actually be covering the season finale for Superman Lois, as it's question of whether it will be 86th or it will be on Max. I'm hoping it will be on Max. Superman Lois was actually one of the better shows of CW, as we said goodbye to the Flash last week. So hopefully Grant Gustin will be showing us that he is the Flash at the end of Batman and Friends. We hope. But anyway, to our comics. I do want to start with this one, Punisher issue number 12. Jesus, there is, okay. How can I stress this? How can I stress this very carefully? So, if you haven't been following the Punisher, first and foremost, he basically took over. He basically took over the Hand, becoming the beast of the Hand. Actually infiltrating his powers. This man fought Captain America. This man fought Daredevil. This man fought Black Widow and Spider-Man. And again, this is kind of the end of the arc, and I'm gonna not spoil about what happens. But my God, for Aaron Sayes, Aseta, and Hollingsworth to come up with this, it was definitely a great read. I have no issues with it, but I did not expect that ending. Like I said, I highly recommend Punisher number 12 if you haven't already. It actually ends the King of Killers arc, where Frank Castle, like I said before, you have to read to the end because I'm definitely not going to spoil it for you, but definitely worth reading. The next one I got, guys, is Doctor Strange, issue number 3. Now, this one actually was written by McKay, Ferry, and Moore. Again, this is following the return of Doctor Strange, as Clea, his wife, did take on the role of Sorcerer Supreme, but he did actually come back to life. And this is kind of a different story. This issue is kind of a filler issue. It's literally called Parlay Day, and I'll leave it at that because, again, if I gave anything more about that, it would definitely spoil it. But it was still a good read for it to be the filler issue of the series so far. But check it out. Like I said before, very well done. No complaints. The next one I got, guys, Captain America, Symbol of Truth, issue number 13. This is actually part of the Captain America Cold War series, part 4. I highly recommend this one as well. This is actually still following the Cold War story. If you haven't did that, I recommend you going back to Captain America and reading part 1 of Cold War, just because if you try to read part 4, some things are not going to make sense. That I would highly recommend to go back and read Captain America Cold War part 1 and 2 and 3. And then understand where Captain America Sam Wilson comes in, because again, Captain America Sam Wilson is Symbol of Truth, whereas Captain America is actually a different Paragon. Just in case some people are a little bit confused. But I highly recommend this one as well. I don't want to go into spoilers because it was just very, very good. I got no issues with it. The next one I got, guys, is Icon versus Hardware #3. Now, this is personally one of my favorites. It's a milestone. It's a milestone in conjunction with DC. Icon versus Hardware, two of Milestone's greatest heroes. And in this story, this particularly is surrounding Rocket. And I am not going to go into it. Like I said before, a lot of these issues that I brought up this week really are very good. I just highly recommend that you read them. And again, issue #3 of Icon versus Hardware does not disappoint. It is definitely up there with writing by Hudlin, Chills, Cowan, Blanks, Flores, Montanez, Floyd, and Sotomayor. Again, highly recommend this one as well, especially if you are a DC Milestone fan. Also, the annual DC Pride 2023 did come out. As you can see, there is a multitude of stories surrounding characters of DC that are LGBTQ+. Long story short, great stories surrounding these characters that you see right there. But highly would recommend that read as well. As I said before, with these annuals, this one did not disappoint. And last but not least, Detective Comics issue 1072. This is definitely following a Batman story by Waters, Reyes, Miki, Raphael, Anderson, and Lothridge. Highly recommend this one as well, just because it is a different Batman story. I know how many times can you write Batman, but this one actually was done very well. I have to give credit for this. And again, I can't really go into it because I don't like giving spoilers, but again, would highly recommend it. So that's actually the comic pulls that I had. I usually leave this up to Joe, but when he comes back on Get Bitten next Friday, I'm pretty sure he's going to definitely have a lot more, and also give us his impression of what he thought of Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse. I hope to see it next. I kind of want to see it Saturday, but again, life happens. You never know. But before we wrap this up, guys, we do want to give a shout out to Rick's Comic City. Again, they support us. We want to show love back to them. If you are in the Middle Tennessee area, definitely check them out. They have locations in Nashville and Clarksville, Tennessee. They also have a new endeavor called Locker Nerd that can actually be found at Fort Campbell, Clarksville, Tennessee. If you can't make it to their locations, you can definitely go to the site at rickscomiccity.com, where you can buy and trade and get great comics all at the handle of your fingertips is the sentence I was looking for. Or you can go directly to their stores and have fun. And if you are not in the Middle Tennessee area, definitely support your local comic book stores, support your local libraries, just because they are the last places where you can actually, pick up a comic book or a manga or multimedia or things of that nature and just enjoy it. And trust me, we don't want these places to fade. Now, I get that Comixology and Amazon and other places where you can download on a Kindle or a tablet is great to read, but there's something about having a comic book in your hand that's just really worth it, or a manga in your hand that's just worth it. And the experience of going to a comic book store is unmatched. So definitely support your local comic book store, support your local libraries. And if you are in the Nashville area, Middle Tennessee area, definitely check out Rick's Comic Store, voted #1 place to go to for comic books. Again, support. That being said, guys, as I said, we didn't really have a lot. Unfortunately, with this strike, we just didn't have a lot. So we're actually going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Before I do get out here, guys, I do have some shameless plugging to do. If Joe usually is either streaming something on his Twitter on his Twitch channel at Joe Italian last name, but definitely check out his YouTube page at Total Justice Gaming, where he not only does games, but he also does Battle Spirits and card games as well. I'm pretty sure he's going to have another deck set up. And also his cosplays as well, because he just actually did a cosplay for National Comic Con just last week. And more than likely, depending on where he is needed, because that man is like Batman sometimes, you can definitely catch him out. Say hi, say hello. He is a very friendly guy. He only looks intimidating in a Mr. Knight suit, but he's really nice. Just, be respectful. That's all we ask. But not only him, we do want to shout out to my boy Vaughn at Big VZA on all social media. Definitely check out his YouTube page, to where you can go ahead and be able to search for free music, even purchase music if you are definitely inclined to do so for it. But definitely check him out, Big VZA on all social media. As for me, guys, you can find me BlackBox447 on all socials. I usually do reviews on everything that I watch, that I play, that I read, and gym stuff, because I do want to get in a better shape, just because, fat ain't where it's at, but there's something about lifting weights that just gives you peace. Could be just me. Aside from that, guys, let me make the link down here just a wee bit bigger for you guys to see. If you copy and paste that link into your browser, it'll take you to our link tree. That's the YouTube and Facebook groups for all of our podcasts, How the Prep Got Here, Get Bit, and of course, the Offense Podcast. Definitely like, share, and subscribe, and let us know what you think of everything that we covered tonight and your opinions. Like I said, we want to keep the conversation going. Just keep it clean. That is all I ask. Also, guys, check out Blurred's Eye View. Check out Room Full of Blurs. Check out Geek by Heart. I'm going to actually get it to the point to where I'm going to actually have a actual screen, because I am all about sharing. Again, before, we need to start doing this, not just at the beginning of this year, but for every day, for friends, for families, for complete strangers. We actually need to be really acknowledging, sharing more, being behind folks, pushing them forward, promoting, because again, we are all just trying to make this fandom. If you have a fandom, it's like being a community. We want to share. We want to bring more people into the fold. We want people to enjoy the things that we enjoy, because you know what? It is no sense to hold on to selfish things when we can actually share them and watch people get the same joy as us. So with that being said, if you have a podcast, things of that nature, share with people. And if you know somebody that has a podcast, you know somebody that's trying to do things, get things out there, share it for them. It takes $0 to share anything. Support people the way you would support Beyonce. That's the way I look at it. That's all I'm saying. At the same time, congratulate others, whether they get that endorsement, whether they get their show syndicated, whether they get anywhere. Promote them, congratulate them, because you know why? It takes zero energy to say, to give props, than to be 100% a dick and just be salty. And like I said before, I'm usually cool with everybody. I just have one rule: don't be a dick. At the same time, guys, you can find our podcast on Anchor, on Spotify, on Apple, on Google Podcasts. Also, you can find us on opulenceradio.com, and very soon, Always Record TV. We just have to get all that aligned, because yes, we are trying to move on up, and hopefully to bigger and better things with me and Joe. So usually I look to the right and say, Joe, what he got for us? And I'm pretty sure he would have something at this point, but I guarantee he's going to make up for it next Friday. So we will hopefully see you guys back here next Friday, same Get Bit time, same Get Bit channel. And of course, like I said, share your fandoms, but don't hate. Don't be toxic, be welcoming. At the same time, first and foremost, look out for each other, and we will all get through this. Take care of yourselves, guys. See you guys next Friday. Have a good one. Enjoy, whether it's Spider-Man or Street Fighter, and I will be jealous of you all. Peace.